Whenever I feel uninspired, I know I need to turn to nature, where I can ground myself truly and deeply, not as a means of escape, but the opposite, to look inwards and remember who I am. It reopens a portal of creativity for me, and honestly, I neglect this need of mine sometimes. But I never forget nature is always there for me. Even if it's just a park in your hometown, it can still be intimate and beautiful and fill your cup just enough. I took my first solo trip in 2020 and it was such a transformative moment in my life. I drove myself to a beach in Monterey and I received so many signs from the universe that I was where I was meant to be. Since then, I've been trying to make solo adventures a regular thing. This is Muir Woods in Mill Valley, just about 30 minutes from San Francisco. It's important to mention the natives of this land, the Coast Miwok people. Nature has always been one of my main sources of inspiration. Ever since discovering my eye and love for photography, it was by far my favorite thing to capture. By saying it's a portal for creativity, I mean nature creates a space in my mind to be granted the gift of an idea. I read this book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, and this is how she says ideas work. Here is what I choose to believe about how creativity functions. I believe that our planet is inhabited by not only animals and plants and bacteria and viruses, but also by ideas. Ideas are a disembodied, energetic life form. They are completely separate from us, but capable of interacting with us. Ideas have no material body, but they do have consciousness. Ideas are driven by a single impulse, to be made manifest. And the only way an idea can be made manifest in our world is through collaboration with a human partner. When an idea thinks it found somebody who might be able to bring it into the world, the idea will pay you a visit. The idea will try to wave you down, perhaps for a few moments, for a few months, perhaps even for a few years. But when it finally realizes that you're oblivious to its message, it will move on to someone else. Sometimes, rarely, but magnificently, there comes a day when you're open and relaxed enough to actually receive something, and then magic can slip through. And then, in a quiet moment, it will ask, "Do you want to work with me?" At this point, we basically have to decide if we're going to accept and work with the idea or not. And I believe once you get in a good flow and repetition in working with your ideas, the more they come to you. And this perspective on creativity has stuck with me for years now. I feel it so deeply in my body to be true. I, like many of us, abandon this part of myself far too often because of many factors and valid reasons. There has to come the time when we free ourselves and each other from whatever is holding us back. I believe in this lifetime we share at least one purpose, and that's to remember and embody our higher selves, to unlearn our learned hierarchical beliefs, aka LHBs as Bunny Michael calls them, which are basically all the ways we've been conditioned to think of ourselves as less than. But Earth reminds us of who we really are rather than what society categorizes us into or how we portray ourselves to the world. It really does have that power when you allow it to. And I think we all have that ability because we are nature, not just a witness. And that has always been our truest form. I've always dreamed of being someone who dedicated their life to their art. But again, things like insecurities, LHBs, and never feeling like it's quote-unquote the right time. But I now know damn well it's never going to feel like the right time. That's always been imaginary. The world needs you to create and share whatever it is you want to create and share in this now moment. If we can just believe in our own divine timing, that is where magic happens. And so it is.